Hi, wonderful people, and welcome. This is Andy Charles in the Breakout Room, greeting you in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It is a blessed day, it's a wonderful day just to be alive. And we have a special guest today. Just remember our podcast, Andy's Personal Development. We are available on all major podcast platforms throughout the entire globe, including Amazon, Spotify, Apple, and iTunes. So, we have a special guest for you today. And before I introduce him, I'm just going to put that video that you would have seen upon the screen. And I'm just going to share a bit of information with you with regards to our guest speaker today. His name is Anthony Samuel Muiruri. He's known as a motivational speaker and author of a book entitled Be Good for Good. Now, here's the thing, this gentleman says that each of us can live to be the best version of ourselves if we make the effort. If we all play our part, this world will be a better place to live in. I consider Anthony as a journeyman, a man who would have traveled tremendous amount of miles to not only create his destiny but also to find his fulfillment, and I'm sure he would agree with me on that. So, without further ado, I should not be hogging the spotlight. Let me introduce our special guest to you today, none other than Anthony Samuel Muiruri. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm fine, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. It's so wonderful to be with you, and I'm grateful and thankful to God that He has given us this opportunity to be together on my show, The Breakout Room. So, how's the weather
Amen.
up there with you?
The weather is just not so hot now.
Uh huh.
It's starting to get a little cold day by day.
Uh
But
huh.
and when I'm saying about that, yeah, I'm speaking about Athens, Greece. For those of you who may not know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's correct, my friend. That's correct. Okay, let me just try something here. Hope you
Mm-hmm.
don't laugh at me. Let me just try this. Naumba tukutane.
You did quite good. you
Swahili,
did.
man.
You, you,
It's supposed to be pleased to meet you, Anthony.
could be a little slight of a meaning, a
Uh-huh.
different meaning, but
Ah.
the reading is good, is quite good, quite okay. Naomba tukutane is like I'm requesting for us to meet. The correct one
Ah.
is nafurahia kukutana.
Wow. Okay, great, great, great. I'm getting some schooling here.
But you're trying, and that's the I mean, that's life.
Yeah.
The secret of success and growth and progress is
Uh-huh.
to try things even though you are not so confident of them,
Yeah.
even though you make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the secret of life. So you're quite on the right path, and keep on that.
Good. So
Yeah,
let's get into a bit of a dialogue, my friend, because I'm really excited to hear some of the stuff about you.
yeah.
And what I want to ask you, first of all, is what prompted the transition from Kenya to Greece? And how was that in terms of the reaction and commitment of your family, friends, loved ones? Not to mention the adjustment with language and culture. But what was the main force behind you leaving Kenya and going over to Greece?
Now in this life, there are very many things that happen and a lot of changes. And you remind me of this incident when I was back in Kenya and I was transiting. I had gone to a neighboring country, which is Uganda. And we, being in the same area, I'm taking a bus to go to Uganda. And we are several buses that are going to Uganda.
Yeah.
And as we are going, we are meeting with other buses carrying a bus load of people going to Kenya. And
All
I'm
right.
asking now, why is this? Why can't we all stay, in our own area? And
Right.
these buses is carrying an overload of products that is taking to Uganda, and the one that is coming from Uganda, the same load of items. And there could be same items, like someone is going to a market in the opposite side of the country to sell clothes, and vice versa. And I was like, what is this? But anyway, to cut a long story short, uh, I got an opportunity to move into Greece, and I, in my position at the point I was, I imagined that that move was the best for me and for my family, and we had to move to make things good, to improve. And when you talk about adjustment with the languages, that's a very good question, because when I landed in Greece and I found that they speak only Greek. Yes, there's a fraction of people who know English, but they won't speak it.
Oh.
So you either communicate with your hands, or you have to learn their language.
Okay.
So I had to adjust to the next one. And as I was as just as I was saying in the beginning, the challenges that you take on yourself. You are trying to learn Swahili. I had to learn Greek seriously, because and I found there are people who have been here for many years. They don't speak it well. They don't speak it,
Oh. Oh.
but it's because they don't put the effort that you're putting there to make the mistake, to be told that you are wrong. People don't want to be told they are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct.
Mhm.
Very interesting, my friend. The thing that really stood out to me is that you said you realized on that bus trip that you had to make a move for you and your family.
Yeah.
And when you say family, who are you referring to, and how many people took that journey with you to Greece?
I am myself and my wife, and I have two boys.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
how did they make the adjustment over in Greece?
um, each of them adjust according to their own. I mean, we are all different, and so each adjust on their own.
Hmm.
Yes, and we thank God for everything.
All right, wonderful. How would you compare life in Kenya with that in Greece?
Um, I mean, when you're talking of Greece, Greece being a first world, so to say,
Uh
maybe,
huh. Uh huh.
uh, you find out that there are better things, better services, more security than
Yeah.
you'll find in Kenya. Being the way you, if you've been to Kenya, or those who know about Kenya,
Uh huh.
the security is higher in Greece than it is in Kenya.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
I can get out of my. I mean, where we stay in almost all the. I mean, if I imagine all the town in Greece, you would find homes with metal gates
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
doors,
Uh huh.
maybe 2%.
Okay.
In Kenya, if you don't have a metal door,
Uh
you're on your own.
huh. Amazing. That's truly, truly amazing. Hey, Anthony, tell me something, my friend.
Yeah.
How did you arrive at the place where you recognize that obviously you have a gift from God? You're a motivational speaker, you're a coach, you're an author. But how did you arrive to the point where you accepted it as your destiny, as your responsibility, and then you saw that fulfillment. What was that turning point for you?
Now, being a motivational speaker or someone who helps people in their own walk of life is something that may have happened to me when I was quite young. I remember when I was maybe 10 years old, like a friend of mine asked a very deep question that I remember up to today. And the friend asked me, Anthony, how can someone, and this is not, with kids, we are just, I mean, you're playing, you're with your day games and things like that. But then when this person was asking me this question, it was not a play. It was not a joke or something. I mean, it was a serious question and deep question. And the boy asked me, Anthony, how can someone have a good life?
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine a child ask
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
children talking about life? And I
yeah.
mean, yes. And I don't even remember what I answered him, but that incident has never left my mind.
Okay,
And
okay.
so I was like, oh, so I can be asked such a question, such a deep question, such a responsible question. So I took that question as big responsibility, but also it made me feel like, oh, I am.
I hear you. I hear you.
uh,
Now, you basically speak four languages. Am I correct?
four languages, yes.
Yeah. So that would be English. It would be Swahili,
Mm-hmm,
Greek, and Kikuyu.
mm-hmm.
What is Kikuyu, man?
Kikuyu is a mother tongue.
Ah. Oh, okay. And how does that go? I mean, what's its origin and its history and so on?
Okay, maybe I'll have to give you a brief story about our country, Kenya.
Yep.
And I don't know about Trinidad and Tobago, how they are.
Uh-huh.
But in Kenya, we have 45 tribes.
Okay.
And that means we have 45 different languages.
Wow.
Now, is it 40, 45 or 40, 40, 40 I'm there, sometimes I forget, or 40, 42, I think.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the that number. But basically, many languages.
Right.
So each and every one of them have their own language, and one of them happens to be Kikuyu.
Okay.
Now, in Kenya, you're born and you must be knowing your mother tongue. And when you are going to school, you must learn the language, a national language, which is Swahili.
Yeah.
That one is, it helps you helps you communicate and understand and be as understood by everyone in the country.
Yeah.
Then the third one is the English, which is the international language.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. Now,
Mhm.
I'm looking at some research and I see some figures, and I'm wondering if you can help me with these figures, to understand the figures. Um, Swahili also is basically a tribal entity, correct?
Tribe,
Not really?
not really.
Right, because what I'm looking at in the research, I saw that there are about 56,000 or so persons of Swahili origin are currently in Kenya and about 90,000 in the US of A. And I was wondering, wow, how is that how is that great shift taking place?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like an historical accumulation of evidence as to not just the origin of the language,
Mm,
but the people who would have spoken that language as well in terms of coming out of Kenya and the other countries. Um, for example, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, Mozambique, Oman, Somalia, Democratic Republic of the Congo, and South Africa. And we're talking
mm-hmm,
about basically 98 million people.
mm.
But what they say is that part of these have migrated to the US of A, and it's about 90,000 that's in the United States of America. So here's a question: why Greece and not USA when you migrated?
Why Greece and not? And I always say that Greece chose me. I did not choose Greece.
I hear you. I hear you. I
Greece
hear
chose
you.
me. And okay, yeah, that's the one thing I say. And another thing that I make fun of is that when that time came for, I had the desire to reach the world, and some of the things, these things that happen, I make fun. I say not fan of, but there are some signs that you look at when you're making a decision,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one of them was because I didn't have a clue where Greece was. And by that time, I opened the internet and started to look at on the map that was on the internet. Those were the I mean, it keeps advancing.
Uh huh.
So on the page that I opened, I tried to look at the map. Okay, I identified Greece, and then I tried to look at the maps, and
Uh huh.
I kind of, I kind of discovered that these maps, where Greece is, it's at the center of the world.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
and,
Interesting.
and this is what I do. On the every triangle, every rectangular map that I found, if I drew two diagonals, Greece would fall right at the center, not near the center, right at the
Right.
center.
Okay.
And I said, oh, so I'm going to Greece, which is the center of the world, so I can reach every corner of the world.
I love that. I love that. That's original and fantastic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In your notations, it says a motivational speaker born and brought up in a small village in Kenya, a place where there could have been limited resources, but instead there was an abundance of love. What does that mean?
Now that's something that you've read from my book, Be Good for Good,
Be good for good. I was gonna get to that.
because that's where the story is. Um, the story is that we were born. I mean, when you're born in a country like Kenya, where you have some limited resources, like I talked about, you don't have shoes, you don't have good clothes to wear,
Yeah,
and maybe, I mean, like I used to run on foot to school,
yeah.
maybe without shoes, but the abundance of love is that even missing that, I would not complain. Nobody else will complain. Even all the kids, they will not go like the present day kids who demand for toys and cry and roll.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and neighbors had love for one another. And there came, I mean, if there was something that your neighbor was going through, you were there for him without demanding for anything.
Okay.
If someone needed something to use, you would give the neighbor, not sell at that time. I mean, if it's not I mean, if it's something minute. And the funny thing is, for those who have not grown in the village, we used to cook with the firewood. And when you've cooked with firewood during the night, you put in chunks of of wood in the fire, in the
Uh-huh.
ash, so that
Uh-huh.
you may light the fire tomorrow in the morning. Now,
Oh, wow.
and now, if you woke up in the morning and you found that your red coal turned, I mean, it went out, because if you put well, you find that it's still there, and so you start the fire.
Yeah.
If you woke up and found it's gone off, you could go to your neighbor's house and ask for some some pieces to come and start your own fire with.
Oh,
It is interesting. It may sound,
wow.
it may sound, what do I say? It may sound fictitious to someone who is
Yeah,
using
yeah,
this for the,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but that's a reality.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
amazing, man. That's amazing and intriguing as a story. Now,
Yeah.
it says that you are host at Bookplace Media, trainer and coach at Greatness Academy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. When I when my book came out, Be Good for Good, um, I got to interact with the other authors who are selling their books also. And I saw a need for authors to have a platform to talk about their books,
Yeah,
because it's not an easy thing to sell your own book.
I know.
And so Book Place came up. And this is where I've been holding book interviews. I've been having authors come on there and they've been talking about their book.
Okay.
When you talk about Greatness Academy, that's a platform that I use for the courses that I offer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you studied Bible studies at Athens International Bible Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and was it also Sunset?
It's a subsidiary of Sunset International, which is in the
Oh,
US.
okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. But tell me, was that based on your spirituality, or was it something that you found necessary to do in terms of your spiritual background and also your desire to grow as an individual? What prompted you to do the Bible study courses?
Um, I was born and brought up a Christian,
Okay,
and I'm still a Christian.
wonderful.
But it happens that as the Christians of Perea,
Uh huh.
you come to a point where you just don't be that one who hears the word without going and understanding the word by yourself. You know, today's Christians will go to church just to listen to what the preacher is saying and excited about it, and most of them just go to, yeah, whoa, 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 and then they are back home.
Okay.
So I needed to have an in-depth meaning, understanding rather, of the Bible.
Okay, great. I personally did some studies with the Israel Biblical Institute. I did about semesters with them, and
Okay.
was very intriguing.
Hmm.
How has it been for you, Anthony, with regards to Be Good for Good? And is there a second book in the making?
It's been quite good with the book Be Good for Good in every area. The
Uh-huh.
reception of the people, they have really liked it, and they, like you've asked the question, are demanding for the second book that is should be coming. And yes, it should be coming at some point, which I may not give out now because I have not put a deadline.
That's all right. That's all
Yeah.
right, my friend. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, One of the things that I've looked at with regards to public speaking and coaching
Mm-hmm.
is how it has been for many of us with regards to the pandemic, COVID 19.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question to you is, what kind of adjustments did you have to make personally with yourself, your family, and your career as a result of the pandemic in Greece?
Mm, the pandemic has hit everyone really, and
Yeah.
this is one of the very devastating thing. But we are grateful that in Greece measures have been taken, and being what Greece is, not like the other countries, the government has been very, very, uh, I mean, very keen on every individual and how they have been living, have been insisting, although people receive different these messages. Now they say be vaccinated. There are those people that who say I won't.
Okay.
But Greece has made sure that everyone who needed to be vaccinated has already been vaccinated, and everyone who may not have been working over that period was catered for in a way. And so for that, we thank God.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you
Yeah,
have been able to make certain adjustments and it has not really affected your commitment to your career as such. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful. We had a mutual opportunity to spend some time and be in the presence of Christina Foxwell.
Yeah.
How was that for you? She's a friend of mine as well, and I
Hmm.
follow her pretty often on Facebook. Coming all the way from South Africa and going into Australia, a similar story to yours in some ways. How was that experience with her, igniting the purpose?
Her story was quite a good story, inspiring story, an encouraging story.
Yeah,
And yeah, she's quite and she's someone who is setting out a very good message to the world
yeah,
and encouraging people to grow from the inside out.
right, right.
Uh-huh.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you had to do anything with regards to a paradigm shift in your life, what would it be? Would you still take the same path that you have taken, or was there something like a plan B that you would have done otherwise?
Oh, that's a good question. Good question. What could I have been? Now, if we start thinking about that, now I'm someone. Let me talk about this. I thank God very much for His grace and mercies,
Uh huh.
and I also thank Him for blessings and gifts and talents that He gives to each and every one of us.
Uh huh.
And particularly when I sit down and look at myself, I see that God has had gifted me with in so many areas.
Uh huh.
Although sometimes I sit down and I think maybe a blessing could be also a challenge where you spread out too wide. Because if I imagine the many things that I could have been and be successful in them, some things that I can do, and someone says, "Oh, that's very good." Like I can sing, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't ask
I
me to
hear you.
sing now. I have a sore throat,
Yeah.
but I
So,
can,
all right, wonderful, wonderful.
and
So,
many other
Anthony,
things.
I'm gonna surprise you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move myself from the stream for a moment, and yeah, when I move myself from the stream, I'm gonna play something for you,
Hmm.
and I want to see your reaction, and I also want you to tell our audience uh, what was that all about? What prompted you to do what you're about to do now on video? So stand.
You have to practice who you want to be. You know, you don't wake up one morning and you're suddenly who you think you want to be. You have to put some energy into it. So if you want to be an honest person, you have to be an honest person every day. Practice who you want to be. You know, you don't wake up one morning and you're suddenly who you think you want to be. You have to put some energy into it. So if you want to be an honest person, you have to be an honest person every day.
Okay. What was that all about, man?
I took that from my TikTok.
Ah.
I'm always very busy on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Um, not always, but I have been for the past. Now, this is what happened. This is what one of what the pandemics brought. I mean, when
Ah.
we can complain about the pandemic bringing the bad news and everything, uh, at the start, immediately at the start, not at the very start, but when it started to hit Greece, that's when I started TikTok, and
Okay.
it quite grew. I mean, I didn't expect the way it grew, and on TikTok, I used to encourage people to motivate them, and they are, oh yeah, they are finding some good time
Uh-huh.
being encouraged from that. And then what happens is, if I see a good thing, I would like to share it out there with someone else.
Uh-huh.
Anything good, and we have a lot of people who are out there who are people who can be mentors, people who can inspire us. If I see that, I'm going to share it on my TikTok.
All
And
right.
The Obamas are a good example.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
that's not me with Michelle, as someone may imagine. It is just a video of Michelle and a video of me being placed together, talking about what you want to be
Yeah.
every day.
Wonderful. So, uh, following up on that, if you had to choose any person or persons who would have had a really positive impact upon your life, maybe from a mentoring perspective or someone that you would probably have look up to with regards to the high standards that you want to achieve, who would you name? Would there be more than one or two persons that you would have looked up to over the years, so to speak?
Good question. Because I remember earlier in life when I started to hear people talk about my mentor, and even up to this day,
Yeah.
when I hear people talk about my mentor,
Uh huh.
you can be deceived to think that a mentor is one, or rather, that you can only have one mentor in life.
Right. Right.
And because, and what happens is in life, you don't have someone who's 100%,
Yeah.
100% in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, You cannot be gifted in every area of your life
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to live a full life, then you better be having a mentor for each area that you want improvement on.
Ah, that's interesting.
If you want to be a good speaker, you can choose your mentor to be Les Brown.
Hmm.
If you would like to be if you aspire to be a president, maybe you can say my mentor is Obama. So
Okay.
whether you be president or not, you are living with a mentor who you, and every time every if you want to be a successful Christian minister, not all of them that you would like to follow.
Yeah. True.
Even though we are going to heaven,
Ay, ay, ay.
so
So, yeah.
to cut it short, I have many mentors. And you asked me to mention, yeah, I have Les Brown on motivation. I have, oh, that could be a very big list. So yeah, that be the what I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of sports, I did not see anything with regards to sports. Um, I know a lot of African countries basically uh, they involve in athletics, more so the long distance running and also in soccer.
Mhm.
What was it like back in Kenya for you, if at all, in the village you're growing up in? Were you involved in any sporting activity, and how did you transfer that to Greece, if any at all?
You did not see anything to do with sport because I was not very good at either.
Uh
I used to love football very much,
huh.
but anytime they would pass the ball to me, I would make 3 steps and fall down.
Wow, that's interesting.
I do run. Kenyans, we are known as marathon runners. I do run. Yes, I do run, and I was fairly good in high school
Yeah.
with the 300 meters.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love basketball. Yes, and I play once in a while.
Yeah.
Basically that.
Ah, okay, okay.
Mhm.
All right. What do you see for yourself in the future going ahead in terms of your career? Are there any other milestones that you would love to accomplish?
Oh, right now it's big. I told you I have to step every corner of the world. It only matters where first or where next or where last. Uh, I would ask you to make it possible that Trinidad and Tobago be the next point that I come to give some speeches.
Song's fine by me. Song's fine by me. I'm sure folks down here would love to have you, Anthony, and we can look into arranging that.
Yeah.
So, if you were to tell your people back in Kenya anything now, what would you say to them in terms of going forward and development and growth, not only for individuals but also for the country as well? What would you say to them?
For the individuals, I have to remind them that it's not about the government.
Yeah.
It's not about your neighbor. It's not about your parent
Uh-huh.
or your brother or sister. Everything depends first comes from God and you.
Yeah.
So whatever has to happen in your life, know that you have to take full responsibility.
Yeah.
for the government, and this is what I will say, is not because government is not a person but a group of people. I can only pray to God that the next time that they sit in that house to discuss about matters of the state, that God gives them the wisdom and the direction that they can govern their people in a godly way.
Sounds great. Sounds really great. Um, I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you sort of remind me of the late great Nelson Mandela,
Hmm.
Modiba.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if at all, at any point in time, did he make an impact on your life? And if so, was it poetic?
What made you think of that?
You're very measured in your speaking, as
Mm-hmm.
he was,
Mm-hmm.
and you certainly understand the separation between the role of government and the role of individuality. And people come into that place where they could recognize self awareness and not depend on anything external, but between themselves and God. And basically, that was part of his philosophy as well. So that's the reason why I asked the question.
Uh, Now, where do I begin? And thank you for asking such a deep question. Uh, Mandela is a man that became a legend in the world, and that wants to take me somewhere that we could discuss in this show, but we will not. But yes, was an icon, and Mandela could have made an influence, which, and the reason I'm saying this, have made an influence
Yeah.
that has led me to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Hmm.
Wonderful. So we just have a few minutes before we wrap up here, Anthony. So I'm just going to put you on hold for a second,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do some house cleaning with regards to our ad corner.
Yeah.
And when I get back, I'm just going to ask you to say something to our audience out there and let them know how they can make contact with you, your podcast, your book, all the platforms that you're on, social media platforms, that is. All
Okay.
right. So stand by, be with you in a minute. Let me just get this ad up and running. All right. So, Andy's personal development, we have our online store, and it's at streamlabs.com. Andy Charles 2 Mook, where you can get your personal items. You can get your t shirts for men and for ladies, as well as your notebooks, and also your water bottles. It is something that you can do at the store and purchase to assist us in continuing the work that we're doing at this time. Or you can visit us at our Amazon Associate site, where you can get your goji berries and your probiotic medication, your ashwagandha gummies, stuff for the ladies for their personal health care, and also your face masks. Or you can become a patron. And to do that, you can go to www.patreon.com/Andy's personal development. You can make a contribution, or if not, you can have a personal effect done in your name on behalf of the podcast. So we thank you very much. And now we're going to go back to Anthony at this time. There you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So, mhm.
go ahead.
So thank you very much. It's been quite an honor to be in your podcast. And for any of to find me anywhere online, I'm on TikTok as Anthony Muiruri. Now, let me spell this very slowly.
Right.
Everything goes like this. It's Anthony Muiruri. Even the Samuel that was in the middle, I don't use it so much these days. is Anthony Muiruri. It's AnthonyMuiruri.
Okay.
Anthony Morore is in every social that I am on.
All right.
I'm Anthony Morore on TikTok, Anthony Morore on YouTube, Anthony Morore. I mean, okay, or even search that name that I gave on Google, it will take you to a million places. AnthonyMorore.com is my website. You'll find there my book and all those uh, hard handles to my social media platforms.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Any last words, parting words for our listeners?
Um, the parting words will be: you've got only one life.
Yeah.
You'd better take care, but also live your life to the full. And don't forget to always pray for anything. Pray for guidance. Pray for anything that you may have in your life,
Yeah.
because it's all by His grace that we are here.
Amen. Sounds good.
Amen.
Amen. So, thank you guys for listening. This is Andy Charles in the breakout room with Anthony Muiruri, and we are very, very blessed and privileged to be in your presence. We thank you for listening and spending time with us. Continue to follow our podcast, Andy's Personal Development. We are all over the globe. Until next time, this is Andy and Anthony saying Godspeed, God bless. Stay
God
safe
bless.
out there, people.